Okay, so this week for our assessment, we are going to begin to set up a restaurant menu. This will be part one, the cover design. The final project will be in week four, and that will be to design a four-page restaurant menu for Gino's Pizza Shack. You will be using a logo which will be provided to you, and you'll download that from here. Don't change the color scheme or alter the logo in any way. Use the logo, you can resize it if you want, but don't go in and modify the logo. It's really not something that they recommend that you do unless you have a specific approval from your client. You're going to design the cover only in this project, so it's going to be fairly easy. Next week, your final will be to design the three other pages. So one thing to keep in mind, obviously, the principles of design and elements of design as you do your work. In this particular case, unlike up until now, you will use your own creativity. So you'll be graded not only on how you use the software InDesign, but on your visual, your concept, your creativeness. So really think about what you're doing and don't just come back with a logo placed on the page. I'm going to be demonstrating how I produced my version tonight and give you an idea of what I did. I don't want you to copy mine either, but I want to show you basically what I did to arrive at something that is somewhat creative and has a nice overall look and feel for the cover of a menu like this. The size of this is going to be 8.5 by 11. Let's go down a little bit further and I'll show you that. So the project specifications, 8.5 by 11 portrait format with a 0.125 bleed. The reason that we're using the bleed is we will be probably having elements that bleed off the page, and it's just normal form for us to have a bleed on these things. When you submit this, you're going to be submitting a print-ready PDF and a packaged InDesign file. So that's it. Come in here, make sure that you carefully read through these specifications for this and instructions. Make sure you got that completely down before you go in and begin to do this. Really, this is a very simple one. Let me go to InDesign and I'll show you what I did. So here's mine. This is my cover. This is what I designed. This is what I produced for the cover. And what I'm going to do is, oh, and by the way, if you take a look over here, you'll see that I have 4 pages. Okay, and this is my 4-page menu. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start off by recreating the 4 pages and showing you how I would recreate the 4 pages. I mean, really, in reality, it's very much like the process that you did when you created your 4-page newsletter. I mean, it's more or less the same basic idea. And by the way, just so that you know, I'm in the view menu. I'm in the screen mode of preview right now. So if I go back to normal, now you can kind of see what your artboard is going to look like when you really begin to prepare this. All right. So what am I going to do first? All right. This is my sample. I'm going to go File, Open, or I'm sorry, New, Document. File, New Document. And this is going to be, the intent will be print. The number of pages will be 4. And this will be a menu, so we're going to need to be facing pages on this. So print 4 facing pages, start page 1, and I'm not going to put a primary text frame in there. The size of this is, I'm going to go with letter size, which is 8.5 by 11, and the orientation is going to be portrait, not landscape. I am going to use 3 columns, and I'm going to use a 0.125 inch gutter between my columns. That's an 1/8 of an inch gutter. Nice wide gutter. I could go smaller, but I think this will be fine. Now, as far as the margins are concerned, I think what I'm going to do with the margins is I'm going to probably go 0.25, which is a quarter. That's a quarter of an inch of margins, top, bottom, inside, and outside. And as far as the bleed is concerned, 0.1 1, 2, 5. Okay? So, just to go back over this, the intent is print. The number of pages are 4. They will be facing pages. Those are facing pages. Starting at 1, we don't have to mess with that. Page size, I'm choosing letter. And I'm giving it a width of 8.5 by 11 with an orientation of portrait. Columns, there'll be 3. And there's a gutter of 1/8 of an inch with a 1/4 of an inch margin all the way around and bleed of 1/8 of an inch. I hit OK. And now I have my new document, which looks exactly like my other document. Although, I'm sorry, this is actually 4 columns. I made this 4 columns. So you know what you could do here? This is 3. All you got to do to make that 4 columns, if I want to do that, is go to Margins and Columns and come in here and change the number from 3 to 4. There you go. And hit OK. And now I have 4 columns instead of... Now these guys are still 3. So what I would probably do here is go into the Margins and Columns and change that to 4. Hit OK. And this one here is still 3. So I go Layout, Margins and Columns and change it to 4. Okay, so that's number... I guess I didn't switch the page. There we go. Layout, Margins and Columns, make that 4. Hit OK. Last page is 3. Layout, Margins and Columns, 4, and hit OK. So once again, I just want you to see that there's an awful lot about doing this which is not very difficult to do. So it's really just a matter of, you figuring out what you want to do creatively and making it happen. So what we're concentrating on tonight is page 1. Page 1 will be the equivalent of your cover. So we're going to design a cover for this. So let's quickly take a look. This is my cover right here. It's a photo. There's the Delicious Pizza logo. There's a Bon Appetit Gino's logo here. And then there's a simple line that says Delicious Pizza with a red background, a ruler, and then the Italian flag colors top and bottom right here. All very simple stuff to do. So let's see how it goes to make this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a frame, and I'm going to make the frame cover about 2/3 of the entire piece. And then I'm going to go to my swatches panel, and actually I don't have that color loaded in yet, so you know what, I'm just going to stop with this, leave this alone for a second, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to create another frame like about here. Let's try 2 column wide frame, that probably is good. And let's go File, Place. And I'm going to come into my desktop, 105, week 3, assignment, assessment, week 3 assessment. There we go. And Gino's, let's see here, where's the logo? Gino's Pizza, where's the logo? Gino's logo right there. Okay, so here's Gino's logo. I'm going to hit Open, and there's Gino's logo in there. But if you remember what I told you, and let's take a look over here. Let's go to the window menu and let's go to links, and let's click on this, and let's go to window info. There we go. Let's see if this tells me. No, it's not going to tell me. Well, anyway, yeah, no, it does. Gino's logo AI. See it? Gino's logo AI. All right, so basically what I told you in the past is it's probably not a great idea to use a logo as an AI file. It would be better to create a PDF or something such as that, or maybe an EPS for something like a logo like this. So what I'm going to do very quickly is I'm going to open up Adobe Illustrator. This will take a minute to do. I'm going to open up Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to open up the Gino's logo in Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to save it out as an Adobe PDF or an Adobe EPS, and then I'm going to use that PDF or EPS in the final InDesign file instead of the AI file. It's okay if you use the AI, but I just want you to know that it's a much better idea to be using either an EPS file for this kind of art or a PDF than it is to use Adobe AI. So again, it's just a matter of letting you know what's the proper way to go with this, in my opinion. And I would think that a lot of your and other instructors and graphic designers would agree with this. And you certainly could get clarification on that by talking to any printer that you're working with, and they could tell you what specifically they would rather have given to them as a file format for something like this kind of graphic. All right, so these programs take a moment to open up, so bear with me. Let's go open, and let's go to desktop again. Come on, you. Come on. All right, week 3. Assessment. Gino's logo. Open. It's right there. I could have just clicked on that. What an idiot. Hit open. There we go. All right, we go. Okay, so there he is. Now, one thing I will tell you. There is a word down there that says Bon Appetito. Now, originally that was in black. I did go in while I was in here, and I did change that to white. I know that they told you not to change the logo in any way. However, I would not have a problem at all if you changed that from black to white. I certainly don't think that would hurt anybody. And it would be something that you would logically do if you were about to put this over top of a red background like I'm doing. So where I don't want you to change anything up in here, if you went in and changed that from black to white, I wouldn't have any problem with that if you did it, because it would be a logical thing to do. So I'm just going to come in here and go File, and I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to change the formatting to, let's do a PDF, okay? And it's going to be Gino's logo PDF, and hit Save. And I'm just going to keep the Illustrator default, leave it just the way it is. I don't need to preserve the editing. Embedding thumbnails I don't need, and I don't need that, I don't believe. So I'm just going to save and hit OK. It's writing the PDF, and that's it. So all you need to do with this, I'm going to close the whole thing out. I'm done with it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, click on this, and delete it, and select the frame, and go again, File, Place. And then I'm going to find the logo, Gino's logo. There it is, the PDF. Click on that. Hit Open. There's my logo. Now, what I want to do is I want to click on the frame, and I want to go Object, Fit Frame to Content. And now what I've done is I've fit the frame to the content, and I have a very nice Gino's logo sitting about where I want it. I probably will bring it down just a little bit. Bring it down visually to where you want it. I'd say maybe somewhere like that is pretty good. All right, now, remember, I got the frame back here. I got this frame, and actually I don't have the frame all the way out to my bleed. There, I have it there. Let me bring it up there. And now I think I'm good. Let's go up. Come on, up. There we go. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make this overall background red. Real simple. All I'm going to do is come in here with it selected, and I'm going to click on the Gino's, and it'll sample that color, and it'll give me a nice bright red background. However, I personally think that it might be just a little bit too close to the image redness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify it slightly. So what I'm going to do is open up my color picker, and I'm just going to simply drag this slider down, and I'm going to keep my eye on this sample splitter right here. That's my original color. This is the darker color. So I'm going to just keep bringing this down until I get a color that I think I like. And I actually think I like that pretty much. Let me go a little bit further. Right about there is good. And hit OK. Now I've got a color red, which helps that stand out quite a bit more. So there it is. That's what I have. Oh, and by the way, this would have been normally in black, that Bon Appetit. And it's red now because I made that change. Okay, so again, I don't mind that you do that. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a picture down at the bottom here. To do that, I'm just going to come in, grab another frame. Remember, now it's going to bleed, so I'm going to bring it up pretty high, right about to there for now. I can adjust this. There we go. And I probably will drag this down just a little bit, like to about maybe there. And maybe what I will do is click on him, the logo, and bring the logo up a little bit, something like that. I don't want it to go too high. That's probably good right there. Okay, select this frame and go File, Place, And I'm looking for my pictures. Let's see here. Pizza. I think this might be the pizza one. Hold on. You know what? Let me cancel. Let me find out which pizza that is. This is, click on it. It's pizza one. Okay, so let's go back in. And with it selected, go File, Place. And it's going to be pizza one. And hit Open. There it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to select the picture, holding down the corner and the Shift and the Alt key. I'm going to bring that pizza picture up until it fills that area. Oh, say about like that. And then what I guess I will do is let me just check my original. Okay, so the original is probably a little higher. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take my frame. Let me get my frame here. And let me bring my frame up to about there. And now what I can do is I can just take this picture and I can bring that picture down just a tiny bit. About like that. And that's close enough for me. Okay? So really, if you take a look at this, I've almost got this entire project done. That's how quick this is. So there's a couple of other things that I want to do to this. I want to add a logo down here, and I want to add some stuff at the top. I want to add Original Delicious Pizza with a rule, and I want to add these three little bands of color here and here. Okay? And by the way, I'm noticing now that I don't have these things big enough, but that doesn't matter. All right, so I want to put the Original Delicious Pizza logo in first. Let's see what resource that is. Let me click on it, and let's go to my links panel. And that is my Original Pizza PDF. Okay? So we go back to here, and I'm going to scroll down just a tiny bit. Come over here with my frame, and we'll put a frame in about like that. And go File, Place, and Original Pizza PDF. Hit Open. There it is. There's my little emblem, and I'll move the emblem over a little bit. Oops, I want to move it over that way until I get it in that column right about like that. That looks pretty good. And I actually applied an effect to this. And what I did was I went to the Object menu, Effects, and I put in a outer glow. And what I did, how I did this was I changed the screen mode from screen to normal. And then I made it white, and I gave it an opacity. Let's make this a little bit bigger. I don't know whether I can see it or not. I'm not sure I can see it. Let's go precise. There we go. That's it. Hit OK. And now, if I deselect this, let's go View, Fit Page in Window, and let's see what we got so far. Let's go to View, Screen Mode, Preview. There is what we have so far. Oh, and by the way, this is something that I keep mentioning to you. Notice how crappy this Bon Appetit and this logo looks. There's a reason for that. If you go to the View menu and you come down to Display Performance, the default for InDesign is to display this using a typical display. We want a high quality display. So I'm going to select high quality, and once I do that, it renders this logo, and you can see it's quite beautiful now. So really, that's the whole deal with this. All right, so I'm getting far along with this. I need Original Delicious Pizza, which, by the way, I set in Myriad Pro Regular 31 point. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my other one here, and I'm going to go back to the View menu, display Screen Mode, Normal, and I'm going to take my text frame, and I'm going to drag a text frame, and Original, Original, I already forgot what it was. Original Delicious Pizza. Original Delicious Pizza. I will select it. Myriad Pro Regular. I don't think it was Myriad Pro Regular. I think it was, no, it was Myriad Pro Regular. Myriad Pro Regular. The type, I'm going to make it white right here. Make it white. White is paper, and paper is white. So I click on paper, and I think it was 32 point. Let's go to 32 point. Let's go to 36, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32. Okay, and I'm going to center align this. So now it's centered aligned, and I'm going to now go to the Object menu and go Fit Frame to Content. There we go. And then I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. Bring it down to about where I think I want it. Right about there is probably pretty good, you know. And last thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click and I'm going to shift and drag a line out to about like that distance right there. And that is going to be a stroke of paper or white. And I think I made it a 3-point. Let's try 3-point and see. No, it's too much. It was 2. I think it was 2. There, that's probably right. There it is. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was a little closer to it. Let's take a look and see how it shapes up. Okay, yeah, and I went a little further with this. I actually went a little bit further with that line. So I would just hold down the shift key and drag it out a little tiny bit more. Just drag this line out to about there. And drag this line out to about there. Okay, and then if you want to, you can select both those objects and go to the object. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Transform. Where is it? Range. Where was it? Layout. Where was it? Object. Arrange. Select. I can't remember how to do it. I always have problems with these things. Well, anyway, I would align the two of them. I can't think off the top of my head where it is. Anyway, there it is. We're basically done. All we need to do is create our 3 Italian bars across the top and across the bottom. To do that, all I'm going to do is come in here and grab a graphic arts frame. And I'm going to start off by going here and dragging a line out that's about like that. Okay? And it's the tricolor, so it's red, white, and green. So what I will do first of all is I'll set my red color, and the red color is going to be, actually what I need to do with this is I need to bleed that over here. I need to bleed that over there, and I need to bleed this over here. There we go. And I'm going to set that to be the color. I'm going to pick the color off of the Gino's, and I actually got it set to stroke. Okay, I don't want the stroke. I want the stroke to be none. I want to select this. All right, click on that, and then let's try it now. Oh, jeez. Hold on, let me do this. Let me go to create new color swatch. There it is. Hit OK. All right, good. And now I can remove this, and I can come up here and I can select that red, and I'll remove the stroke to none. There we go. Okay, so there's that one. And then I'm going to go edit, copy, edit, paste in place. And I'm just going to walk it down slightly until I see it go off, and bring it back up till it touches. And that I'm going to change to be paper. There we have that one. And oops, oh geez. Alright, there we go. Alright, so there's that one. And let's go edit, paste in place. And there's a third one. Let's bring the third one down. And there is my third one for my tricolor. Get my eyedropper tool, nail that green, and now I have the third one green. Okay, that's all there is to this, and I'm going to select all 3 of these and go edit, copy, edit, paste in place, and then I'm just going to walk it down. I could hold the shift key down to walk it quicker, bring it down to about here. And then I do a little tiny bit of fine tuning. Now this is where the bleed is. So this frame up here has to go all the way out and bleed. So I'm going to extend that one up there. This one does not have to. Then what I want to do is I just want to make a few minor adjustments with this. So let's click on this. This is the piece of art, and let's bring that art down just a touch, probably like that. That's probably pretty good. Yeah. And then this guy here, let's bring these up a touch. Let's bring them up just a touch. And then I'm going to take the Gino's logo, bring the Gino's logo up until he's right about there. And you know what? I think that's about what I want. So So I go to the view menu, I go to screen mode, and I go to preview. And there it is. This guy probably could come up just a bit more, probably like that. But there you have it. That's the way that I created my cover. I noticed that there's a stroke. I think there's a stroke. No, it's not. I think it's the photo. That's what I think it is. That photo is just a tiny bit off. There we go. Okay, so there it is. There's my Gino's cover. That's what you guys are going to want to do this week. I'm basically done with this exercise. You know how to find me if you have any problems, but this is what I'm looking for. Don't copy what I did, but this is very much the kind of work that I'm looking for you to do. Have fun with this and do something creative. Thank you for watching.